You're welcome to the details. Now, the Health Ministry says it is preparing a response to allegations of irregularities raised by a Norwegian newspaper, VG, in a recent investigation. The paper alleges Ghana is buying the Russian-made Sputnik V vaccines at almost twice the original price, using middlemen who have questionable paths. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, is joining me with more on the investigative report. Hello, Fred. Hello, Fred. Fred, I think you are muted. Fred, do unmute for me and let's see if we can hear you. Let's try this again. Hello, Fred. Looks like I'm having a hard time with Fred Smith, who is going to help us understand who these middlemen pointed to in the Norwegian newspaper report are, and also what does the Ministry of Health statement say. As I said, the ministry says it has a response to these accusations, or if you like, these allegations that are coming up, that shows that there is a procurement of vaccine from the Russian producers, which we're buying for at $19 instead of the $10 listed as the international price by the producers of that particular vaccine. We can try to hear Fred Smith once again. Okay, we will be hearing from Fred shortly, but the minority in Parliament is calling for a bipartisan parliamentary probe into the reports that the country is buying COVID-19 vaccines from Russia at almost 100% the original price. The ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Kwabena Minta Akando, alleges that some government officials are trying to profit from the COVID-19 pandemic. He says he will summon the health minister to Parliament over the revelation in the Norwegian press.
I want to satisfy myself as a ranking member and as a minority group. We have to satisfy ourselves to get to know the truth of the matter. And so we will call for the agreement, and then we will, if we are not satisfied, we will call for an independent investigation into the matter, because the minister himself is complicit in this matter. So we'll call for a bipartisan investigation into this matter. And this is a very serious issue if it turns out to be true. Very, very serious matter.
Why do you say it's a very serious matter?
It's a serious matter because it borders on the health of the people. It borders on a pandemic. And it breaches most of our rules and regulations in this country. You understand? So it's not a small issue at all.
Couldn't it be that it's going for the 19 million, well, the $19 per dose instead of the $10? Probably because of the unavailability of it on the international market.
Well, what is important is that you need to come back to Parliament to inform us, for us to agree and approve. And what we have also picked is that from the source of Sputnik vaccine, we are not supposed to sell it more than $10 per dose. That is what we are picking. And so, Joseph, let's take our time and take it one after the other, and then follow this matter to the very bottom of it.
To the extent that the search-shaped individual who was allegedly involved in the Ameri deal is part of this same process which is now blowing up, how worrying otherwise is that?
You begin to shiver when you hear such names because of their records. And if you read the story even indicates that there are people who are even wanted. I don't know if you have taken your time to read the story. So there are people who are even wanted by the police in Norway.
So the question that Joseph posed to him is, what if it is because it was necessary because we do not have access to the vaccines? Even people who have money don't have access to the vaccines. What do you think as we go to Fred Smith to give us more? WhatsApp us on 0540-109009. That's 0540-109009. Let me take you to Fred Smith, head of our health desk. Let's understand what the middlemen involved in this report are. Who they are and what the health ministry is saying. Fred, let's begin with the middlemen. Who are they? What do we know about these people?
Well, there are two men. One is the main person, which is the Sheikh Maktoum. Sheikh Maktoum, if you recollect the name, is the same person who was central to our Ameri deal, which turned out to be very controversial, was reviewed. And the other person is Pierre Morten Hansen. Pierre Morten Hansen is a man who is currently facing money laundering charges in Norway, and this relates to internet fraud. And he's alleged to have had a role in stealing money from wealthy people, some big CEOs around the world, getting them to send monies that they were not supposed to do, if you know how these internet fraudsters work. He's facing charges for that. And these are the two men who the VG newspaper is alleging that are leading the procurement, or they are actually the men getting the Sputnik V vaccines for Ghana. 3.4 million doses they are working on, because they had brought the 16,000 doses as sample, and that gave the health ministry the assurance that they could supply as many as we wanted. And so, yes, and the same offer that the newspaper is alleging, $19, that's how much they're selling to us, even though the manufacturer's recommended price is $10. The VG newspaper is alleging that a similar offer was made to South Africa, and South Africa rejected it. And so we await that statement from the health ministry, which says will be coming in sometime today, and to explain if indeed we are getting the one dose of the Sputnik V vaccine at $19 instead of $10 as prescribed by the manufacturer's giftee.
What it means, Fred, is that we have yet to cite the health ministry's response, which we believe to be contained in the statement.
Yes, indeed, Gifty. The health ministry was contacted 2 days ago about this. I personally did. There was no response. Yesterday, we made another attempt, and there was no response again. Today, they issued a statement only to announce that they were going to issue another statement, and asked that the public should be patient whilst they prepare this new statement. Yesterday, the WHO had a news conference as well. At this news conference, the WHO raised concern about the activities of middlemen who are making the cost of vaccines go up in such a way that countries are finding it difficult. And if you know, many countries are actually struggling to procure or access vaccines to vaccinate their citizens, and all that Ghana has been able to do, less than 1 million doses so far for the first round, came through the COVAX platform, and then the benevolence of MTN, the network operator, which supported some African countries to where they operate to be able to improve its inoculation. So that's been the situation so far, Gitsi.
And Fred, can you give us a little bit of information, if you do have it, about what the WHO says in the spirit of the cost of vaccine and how easy it ought to be made for poorer countries, especially countries in Africa? What else does the WHO say? Does it, for example, go into details on this specific matter, or does it make a general statement about the access to COVID vaccines and the role of middlemen?
Yes, indeed. In fact, the question was very specific to this allegation that Ghana was procuring these vaccines at almost twice the recommended price. And so the WHO's response was that the COVAX platform, which is being organized by UNICEF, is the main organization that we expect to facilitate the procurement of vaccines in such a way that almost all countries will be able to get vaccines to reach their target. And if you know, Gifty, we plan to inoculate 20 million of our population. We're not at 1 million yet. That's the difficulty as we face now. So the WHO is expecting that in the interest of serving the people, let's not make it difficult for countries to procure these vaccines. Let the COVAX platform access it. But as you know, that has also proven very difficult. And so persons who have connections to manufacturers have stepped up and are offering these. And if it's going through these channels, you know the cost of freight, handling charges, and others will come in and will add to the cost. We expect, the Ministry of Health statement to indicate all of these as the reasons why they cannot sell to us at the manufacturer's price.
Fred, thank you very much. We'll look forward to that statement from the Health Ministry. Fred Smith is head of our health desk, giving us, bringing us up to speed on what's happening here. There's been procurement of some COVID-19 vaccines from Russia, the Sputnik V, and we're hearing from investigations done by journalists in Norway that we're buying those vaccines at an overpriced amount, which is from $10, which is the amount issued by the manufacturers, to $19, which is what we purchased it for. We're yet to hear from the Health Ministry, but we understand there will be a statement soon on why Ghana made that choice.